Okay guys, it's time for some straight talk. I'm gonna tell you what I'm expecting. Look, I think in the next 8 days we're gonna have an epic move. I think it's more likely we drop, but again, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna play this. There is a possibility. Look, if we hold support above the point I'm gonna short, then it's very possible we could push higher. But I'm gonna show you what criteria need to be met in order for us to know whether this is gonna push higher or drop. I'm still going to put in a heavy short at this point. I'm going to cover this. I'm going to show you why this is the case. I'm going to give you price targets to pay attention to. And guys, I have released my bigot copy trader name in Discord and Twitter. I'll make another post just in case some people missed it. But understand, there's a lot of pressure on me, okay? I want to make sure that I keep my rank high for my copy trading account. And I want to make sure you guys don't lose money. Now, the previous few trades have worked out perfectly. The last trade I told you that when we pushed up, that it'd be a brick wall and I expect us to get rejected. We did push above that point. People said, oh, Rex, you were wrong. Well, we did push above it, but if you don't have access to the charts, you weren't there to actually see. We did get rejected from that point. So it was a perfect point to put in a short if you're swing trading or scalping. But yes, eventually we pushed above it. I stayed in that short. It pushed back out and I got stopped out. So if you were to copy trade me on that, you would have lost money. So I'm going to cover this in detail. Guys, if you like this content, make sure you leave a like. If you want to be notified of future videos, make sure you subscribe, take the notification bell. And by the way, guys, I do have some information, guys. If you're using Bybit or Femex, make sure you pay attention into this video because I'm going to cover a few things that I think it might be wise for you to leave Bybit and some of these other ones, and I'll explain this also. So let's go through this. I've talked about this chart for quite a while. This was published on March 26. This is a published chart, cannot be edited. I was telling you guys, when you push up and hit this white line, I expect us to get a rejection. And I told you when we hit this blue ring, this is where you want to long. I said if we break this blue ring, I expect us to capitulate. It was a bear trap, but I also told you where to buy. I said it was more likely price to push up. But let me play this. You can see how it played out. You know, you had multiple points to get on your short. This short played out. I mean, we made a killing on this short. And then we longed, every time we hit this blue ring, we longed. Notice we came down and we pushed back up. So now we're back in this pattern. So I still believe this is a point to get rejected. And this is where I'm going in a heavy short. So what I'm going to do is, since there's only 250 slots available to copy trade, I will make a post in Discord and in Twitter and say, look guys, I'm setting up my trade, search for my name, you can find me. But since there's only 250 slots, what I'll do is after enter my trade, I will still make a post in Discord and Twitter with my exact entry price, my stop loss, and my take profit, so you guys that, you know, don't get a slot will still have my trade set up. So that's what I'm going to do. But I want to show you how to play this. I will be shorting this point, but there's always a possibility if we get above this point, well, we're going to have to flip bullish. But I'm going to show you the criteria that have to be met so we can get an idea of which way this is going to go. And it was just like if you're trading Ethereum and Bitcoin's going sideways, you can play the charts. If you're at support, you long it. You're at resistance, you short it. But if the charts show that Ethereum is going to drop and Bitcoin pumps, well, Ethereum's going to pump with Bitcoin. Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the direction of Bitcoin is dictated by two other things. The DXY, the US dollar, is inversely correlated with the US dollar, and the indices. Bitcoin follows the indices. So if you have those two things charted along with the Bitcoin chart, you can get an idea of direction and know how to play this. So the last video I put up, this was April 15th. This was 2 videos back. I was showing you that it was likely we'd be in this pattern, and within 8 days from the time of this video, I think it was 12 days. So within 12 days, we'd have a break to the downside. We did have a little fake out to the downside. I told you where to buy. We're going to cover that as well. And I also said if we push above this point, this would be the apex. So I think we're back in play with this. So either we're going to, this is the apex here. We either push to the upside or we drop to the downside. I'll put a link up to the video now if you want to check it out. This is the same video a little further in. Again, April 15th, I was telling you way in advance that when you come down, this is where you buy at 38,690. Whenever you make contact with this line, this is where you long. I've been talking about this. It was April 14th I was talking about this. I said if we break 39,673 on the C1 chart, the H1 chart, this is where you buy when you make contact with this line. Depending when you make contact, depends on price, but depending when you hit this line, you long. And you can see how this played out. We hit it and we pushed up. Now this is the thing that I need to find out about copy trading. I do not use trigger. I don't like to say, Okay, if price drops down to this point, automatically buy and have my stop loss. Because if I would have done that, I would have got stopped out. I like to buy market order. I like to pull the trigger. I longed the bottom of this wick. I knew this was strong support, so I get the max profit belonging here. Or I wait till it pushes back up, then it gets above support, and then along this point. If you do automatic buy, you can't do that. So that's the other thing I need to figure out, because I want to make sure I pull the trigger on the trade so I don't get stopped out. If you had an automatic buy here, you had your stop loss below, you would have got stopped out and the trade still played out. So again, that's what I'm saying. There's certain ways you play this to make sure you don't get stopped out and you're in profit. This is how this chart played out, and I made a tweet about this, and I told you guys, I said when we come down, I said I showed multiple charts that showed that we would come down and this would be support. You can see how this played out. Had you longed this point right here, look how much profit you made. And this was the point in that last video where I said that this is going to be a brick wall and I expect us to get rejected. Now, yes, we did push above it, but if you look at the actual chart, you'll notice on the 15-minute, we actually did get rejected there. Let me put this back on the 2-hour so it looks the same. So this is where I said, to short right here at 41,500. Most recently, in Twitter, I said short right here at 40,600. We dropped. I told you to long down here at 38,800. We pushed up. And then I told you to short right here. And yes, we did push above it, but if you go to the smaller time frame, that was actually a good trade. Actually, let me go to 15-minute here. You notice we still got rejected. We hit this point and we came down. We came down a total of, it was 1.24%. If you used a good bit of money with high leverage, you made good money on that short. So it did play out. Yes, we did push back up above it. Notice when we hit this next line in the fib channel, I made a tweet about this. It was a perfect point to short, 41,271. We came down, now we're pushing up. Next resistance on this chart is 42,061. Now, I stayed in this trade and hoping that we'd have more downside. We pushed back up and I got stopped out. But again, I gave you a perfect short back here, a perfect long here, and you had a short here. You can't win them all. And again, actually you could win them all if you took your profit. But, I stayed in and I got stopped out. So it depends on how you trade it. But, people are making comments saying that, I got people wrecked. Actually, people did short this point. They took their profit and then it pushed up. If you stayed in like I did and it pushed back up, you get stopped out. I don't get wrecked. I just had a stop loss above. So it pushes up. I get stopped out, lose a little bit. I don't get wrecked. Just showing you how these charts play out and how that last one played out. And again, so what I was talking about in the previous video, since now we're back up in this area, again, seeing 41,381 was the next point too short. I think we're above that now. We're right now at, right now we're at 41,500. So we're above this point. So I still believe that it's going to play out. When we hit this point, we're going to get rejected. And again, this has to do with the DXY and the Dow Jones. I'm going to show you this as well. I've talked about this chart previously, guys. You need to understand that there's multiple reasons I'm expecting us to drop. Now, you can see each one of these white lines. Whenever we hit it, we get rejected, all right? So down here, when we hit this white line, we dropped 31%, all right? Up here, when we made contact with this line, we dropped a total of 55%. We hit this line, we dropped 25%. We hit this line right here, we dropped a total of 50%. So far, we hit this line. This is where I told you to short. This played out perfectly. So far, we dropped a total of 20%. At a minimum, we have dropped 25%, right? So if we still have more downside, which I think is very possible, when we hit this point, this is where I'm going to put in a short, because I think we have a lot more downside. If that plays out, yes, I believe we will capitulate and we'll hit the bottom targets I gave you in previous videos. However, if we do hold support above this point, I have to flip bullish, because eventually you do break past these points. Even though you get rejected, right? Rejected. Well, eventually you break it and you push up. You get rejected, we come down. Well, eventually you break it and you push up. Same thing happened each one of these lines. So it is possible if we get above this point, we could push up. But again, you need to follow the US dollar and the indices. Now, I've been talking about this, guys. This is I call it my Dow Jones original chart, because this is the chart I used to predict the last stock market drop. Maybe I got lucky. I don't know, but it played out. I told you that we would come down to around here. We came way down below. But what I want to point out is these yellow lines, right? These little yellow lines right here. Every time we break one of these yellow lines, we drop. We broke this one, we dropped. We broke this one, we had a slight drop. We held support on this yellow line for quite a while. What happened when we broke it? Well, we had a little drop. We came back up, tested resistance. So basically, once we broke this one, the trajectory from going up actually went sideways, right? So the trajectory changed. We didn't have a major drop, but the uptrend ended and we went sideways. Well, if you look over here, you can see what's playing out currently. When we broke this one, right, we had a drop, came back up, tested as resistance, and then we had another drop. So this is the next line in this fib channel. So the same thing. If we break this point at any point, I expect us to come down to this target. This means we'd have some downside for the indices. Bitcoin follows indices. If the Dow's coming down, chances are the NASDAQ, the S&P will coming down as well, and Bitcoin follows the indices. If the indices come down, Bitcoin's coming down. That being said, if we do hold support here and we break above this point, we have a lot more upside for the Dow. That means we have upside for the NASDAQ, the S&P, upside for Bitcoin. So this is one thing to watch. If we break this point, right, expect some downside for Bitcoin. So I'm using the indices to help determine the direction. I know once we break this point, you know, and we're at resistance with that chart for Bitcoin on the M1, then yeah, it's more likely to put in a short. If we hold support, we get above this point and we're above that trend line, well, it's time to go long. So again, I'm just showing you how I'm using other indicators to help me determine the direction. Currently, the Dow Jones is up 231%. I'm sorry, 233 points, and Bitcoin is pushing up. That's why you can see Bitcoin pushing up right now. This is just showing you right now, Bitcoin follows the markets. That's just how it is. So the DXY, this is the other thing we have to pay attention to. This is a key resistance right here at 100. We've been trying to get above this point for a while. If you see the DXY start coming back down and the markets are pushing up, that's bullish for Bitcoin. If you start seeing the dollar hold support, if we get above 100 and start pushing up to higher targets, and you see the indices start dropping, that's bearish for Bitcoin. These are your upside targets. This is the DXY 211.21. These are your key resistance levels above, and these are your key support levels below. If you'll notice right here, and again, this is what I'm trying to show you. If we get above, this is look right here. You can see that this is back on. This is back in 2018. You can see this yellow line has been support, 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 and we're coming up to test it as resistance now. So if we get above, again, if we get above this point and hold support, that's around 101, probably a little less, that is going to be bearish for markets and bearish for Bitcoin. If we get rejected at this point and come down, that's going to be bullish for Bitcoin and bullish for the markets. Again, indices up, Bitcoin up. So this is something to pay attention to. If we get rejected, guys, you know, and we're above that point on the M1 chart, then you want to go long. If we get above this point and hold support, and we're at that line on the M1 chart, you definitely want to short. So that's what I'm paying attention to. Now, I'm going to give you price targets to for these other charts to pay attention to, but I just want to make this very clear and how I'm going to trade this. So look, if I know that from previous contacts with these white lines in this fib channel, and that's how I knew to tell you guys to short this point, right? I mean, you could have shorted from 48,400 all the way down to 39,291. So the same thing is still in play. If we push up, the highest I think we can go, if it's today, the highest we can go is 43,331. If it's out here, the highest we can go is 42,775. And again, this is now your support, you know, right down here at 40,500. And I think it's very possible, you know, we're already above this point, so we could start doing something like this. We could get rejected, come down, hold support, test it again. If we do get above this point and hold support, that is bullish, guys. But it's only bullish if the markets are pushing up and the dollar is coming down. That is when I will put in a long. If I start seeing the dollar continue to push up and the markets come down, even if we're at this point, I will not go long. That's why I'm saying you need to pay attention to the US dollar and pay attention to the indices. But again, I will go in a heavy short. So when I say, guys, I'm setting up a copy trade, search for me. that's where I'll be putting in my short. And if we get above this point and hold support, and just like I said, the DXY and indices, if the dollar's coming down and the indices are pushing up and we're at this point, I'm going to go long and I will share my trades with you. But again, I believe that the next major move is going to happen, and we can measure this out. Again, we know this is our key resistance, right? This is our resistance. This is our support. This was a little bear trap right here. So we're back in this pattern. Rejected, support. I don't know. Maybe we get rejected. I'll put another short here. But if we break above this point, come back down, hold support, well, that might be a perfect point to put a long, and then we go higher. And I'll give you those upside targets if we do push up as well. So let me zoom out a bit. So I can tell you right now, all right, based on this chart. So if we do push up, if we go to the upside, all right, we know for a fact that this line right here has been a lot of support and resistance. So if we push up, you know, and again, you can see each one of these fib channel lines we've respected. We're going to respect this fib channel line as well. And just like these previous ones, hold on, just like these previous fib channels, every time we hit it, we get rejected, 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 rejected. That means if we hit this one, the same damn thing is going to happen. That would be an ideal point to put in a short. Obviously, we have a lot of upside. We know the highest we can go. Well, first we have to get above this point. You can see how much resistance this has been. So this is actually your first upside target. So if we do get a pump above this white line, your next point to watch, all right? And actually, you know, there's multiple points you need to pay attention to here, okay? So if we hit this point, it's possible we could push up. Look, if we break above this point, all right, we would hit this point, possibly get rejected, come back down. This would be bullish. I can't deny that. This would be triple support right here. So this would be an ideal point to long. Then we'll probably push back up above, hold support, and this would be your upside target. So that upside target, well, your first target to watch, again, this is the bull case. Your first upside target to watch is 44,600, right? Probably get rejected, come back down, hold 41,572. If you get above that point, well, we know this is your next key resistance, right? You can see that this has been a lot of support resistance going back. This was support right here. You can see that over here, it was also support and resistance. Once we broke it, we had a drop. Look, support, 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 resistance, support, support. We broke it, we dropped. So we know that will flip as resistance. So if we do push up from this point, you're looking at 56,500 to 58,508. I don't think we can make it to this point. If we shot straight up, the highest you would go would be 82,000. I find that very unlikely. So if we do push up, you know, and we get rejected here, right? Well, we know we make contact with this line right here. It's going to be the same thing that happened here and here. So this would be an ideal point to put in a short. I'm just showing you how to play the charts and giving you some scenarios. If we push up, if I'm wrong about capitulation, and the markets push up and the dollar starts dropping, we hold support right here at 41,572. We're probably headed to around $58,000. That's just how it is. So if that plays out, I will go long at this point. However, if we do get rejected at this point, right? If we push up and we get rejected at 43,000, and we start coming down and you start seeing the indices start tanking and the dollar start pushing up, well, this could be the last point to enter your short at 33,100 before this whole thing starts coming down and we capitulate. Just showing you how I'm going to play this. So let me give you some key support and resistance levels to pay attention to. So let's go to this chart. So right now you can see your current support, and we know this is support because we got a perfect rejection here at 40,676. We got a perfect rejection right here at 41,246. So we know this is currently support, all right? 41,327. You can see this has been a lot of support and resistance. So that is your current support. If we push up, the next point to watch to get rejected is right here around 42,087. Well, right above us, 42,075. That's your next point to possibly get rejected, put in a short. If we push up, well, this is your next resistance above, right here at 42,848. And your next major resistance above is 43,345. I don't think we'll make it to that point because by then we will hit this line on the M1 chart, right? If we push straight up, we make contact at 43,245. So yeah, there's no way we can hit this point. So I think the top is right here. This is the point where you put in your short, make this white so it stands out. So this is the point that you would short, all right? This is on par with that white line on the M1 chart. This is where I'll be going on a heavy short. If we come back down, so we know that this is going to be very strong support right here, all right? You can see how well we're respecting this point. So if we break below 41,350, your next support to watch is 40,500. If we break that, well, we know this line has been very, very strong support. This is where I told you to buy back at 34,000, right? We hit this point, we pushed up. That's why I knew when we came down, this is the point you wanted to buy back in. We pushed up from that point. So if we come down, your next support level to catch a bounce, eventually it could break, but 39,150. I think if we come down and test it again, we might get a bounce, and then we will break that. But I just want to give you your support resistance levels to pay attention to. This is the C1 chart, and look what's happening here. Again, all of your support and resistance levels are already mapped out. You see this yellow line right here? This has been a lot of support and resistance. We had a perfect rejection right here. Perfect rejection right here at 46,594. You see how much support and resistance has been, and we pushed up, and what do you know? We got rejected right at this point. So we'll probably come back down. We'll probably get rejected at 41,618. We'll see what happens after I publish this video. If we come back down, your next support is right here. You can see that this was a lot of support. This is on par with that blue ring. Every time we hit this, you should have longed. 39,282, 39,655, 40,023. We broke it, we came down, we pushed back up. Now this line is support again. So when you hit this point, you would have longed 40,563. So again, if we get rejected here, your next support is 40,700. If that breaks, your next support level to long is 40,266. If that breaks, your next point to long is 39,364. If we push up, your next resistance is right up here at 43,000, and this white line right here on the C1 chart is the same damn line on this M1 chart right here. Again, 43,245 I think is the top. I think this is the last bull trap, and this is going to be the perfect point to put in a short. So again, that's what I'm saying, 43,000 I think is the top. So if we get above and hold support above 41,616, all right, if we hold support, and remember guys, only long support and a short resistance. So if we push above this, hold support at 41,583, I believe that we're probably pushing up to 43,000. That's where I'll be going on a heavy short. And notice you've got double resistance here, guys. Double resistance. Ideal point to put in a short. And just like on that other chart, you know, I said to short that point, we did get a 1.34% rejection, but we did end up pushing above it. But I do believe this is the top right here at 43,000. That's why when we get close to this point, I'm going to make a post in Discord and Twitter and say, all right, I'm ready to copy trade. Here's my entry, stop loss, take profit. But these are your key support resistance levels on the C1 chart to pay attention to. This is the C1 BG chart. You can see right now we're getting rejected at this fib channel line right here. And as I say, guys, when you have multiple a chart charted different ways and you're finding resistance, it's likely you're going to get rejected. 41,556. Your next support, well, you can see this yellow line has been a lot of support. It's been a lot of support resistance going way back. You can see right here it was support, support. And you can see how much resistance it was. More support, support, resistance, right? We pushed above it, so now this will flip as support. So if we drop down, your next support level to watch is around 40,180, depending when you make contact. Your next resistance above, 42,877. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but it looks like 43,000 around that area is the top or an ideal point to put in a short. So guys, big get. So again, what I want to tell you guys is if you're using Bybit or Femex, big get is legal. They have a license in the US, Canada, and Australia. So you do not need a VPN to mask your IP address. So if you are using Bybit and Femex, I just want to make you aware that if you're using a VPN to access, and you know that you're using it illegally, because to access, if you're in the US and Canada and you want to use Bybit or Femex, you have to use a VPN to mask your IP address. You can't even access their platform without it. And they say clearly, we do not offer services to products to users in excluded jurisdictions, including the United States, China, Singapore, Canada, and some others. And they clearly say in their terms of service, go read it for yourself. It says right here, you understand and acknowledge that if it is determined that you have given false representation of your location or place of residence, which if you're using VPN, you're doing exactly that, the company Bybit reserves the right to take the appropriate action with compliance to local jurisdiction, including termination of any account immediately and liquidating all open positions. So that means that they've already protected themselves and you agree to the terms of service. If Bitcoin starts crashing and you're in a trade and they want to cover themselves and they don't want to pay out, they have an excuse to do it. They can just close your account, take your money. There's nothing you can do about it. So again, my suggestion to you, get the hell off of those exchanges where you got to use VPN and use one that's legal. You can use up to 125 times leverage, and they're legal to use. You do not need VPN. That's why I chose them in the first place. And again, if you want to copy trade me, you just go up to copy trade, and then you'll go to search, and you will search my name, and then I'll pop up. But I will make a post in Discord and Twitter telling you guys, okay, I'm ready for you to copy trade me, and I will still put my I will share my trade on Twitter and in Discord. But guys, I know this went kind of long. I just want you to understand. Follow the indices. If the indices are pushing up and the dollar is coming down and we are holding support right here, guys, that will be bullish. I will be going long. I already gave you resistance levels above. If you start seeing the dollar start pushing up and indices come down, then that's more reason to expect this to come down. And I already gave you your bottom targets in previous videos, so you can go back and watch that. But guys, that's it. If you want to access these charts, websites to opticalcrypto.com, link pinned in the first comment in the description. If you use my big affiliate link, that's also pinned in the first comment description as well. That's it, guys. Trade safe, trade smart, and I'll keep you updated on Twitter and in Discord.